Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Assigned by His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, His Excellency the Minister of Housing is to open the Sultan Qaboos mosques in the Wilayah of Suwaiq on Friday. The Financial Affairs and Energy Resources Council stresses on the necessity to continue in taking financial and economic decisions to limit the effects of decline in oil prices. And the Minister of Health issues a decision to decrease the prices of more than 4,000 medicines starting from June. Now, live from the news center of the Sultanate of Oman television here, we're going to present to you the details of this news bulletin. Assigned by His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, His Excellency Sheikh Saif bin Mohammed Al-Shabibi, Minister of Housing, will open the Sultan Qaboos mosques in the Wilayah of Suwaiq in the Governorate of North Al-Batina on Friday. The mosque has been built on an area of 37,558 square meters. The main prayer hall can accommodate about 2,600 worshippers. The mosque includes a prayer hall for women with a capacity of 360 worshippers. It also includes the office of the mosque administration. The mosque also includes roads and parking lots for about 590 cars, toilets and other services. The Council of Financial Affairs and Energy Resources in its meeting today stressed on the necessity to continue taking purposeful financial and economic decisions to limit the effects of decline in oil prices and achieve financial sustainability. The Council also got acquainted with the economic reports issued by some international institutions on horizons of economic growth on medium term, as well as improving the work environment of financial procedures to limit the deficit in the general budget. It further discussed the financial or final calculations report of the fiscal year 2016. The meeting also reviewed the latest development in international oil prices and results of the actual implementation of the general budget for the current period. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Darwish bin Ismail al-Blushi, Minister responsible for Financial Affairs and Deputy Chairman of the Financial Affairs and Energy Resources Council. The Minister of Health issued a decision to decrease the prices of more than 4,000 medicines in the private sector starting from June. Based on this decision, the profit margin of selling medicines in pharmacies will be decreased from 55% to 40%. The decision came as a completion for previous decisions by the Ministry to unify prices of medicines on the level of Gulf Cooperation Council countries, as well as repricing the medicines on the local level. The focus was on medication for treatment of chronic diseases, as they recorded the highest consumption rate in the market, where the decreased level of some medicines exceeded 60%. The committee in charge of studying and fixing the sale prices of oil products in the Sultanate today approved the new pricing for oil products for June 2017. The committee fixed the sale prices of M95 for the next June at 191 basis for 1 litre. The price of 1 litre for M91 will be 180 basis, while the price for diesel set at 197 basis 1 litre as well. The official website of the Minister of Oil and Gas said that the sale price of oil products in the Sultanate during June 2017 witnessed a decline by 8 basis for M95, 6 basis in the price of M91 and 7 basis for diesel compared to the sale price in May 2017. The directives of His Majesty the Sultan, when he presided over the meeting of the Council of Ministers last week, stressed to accord more attention to tourism sector and other sectors of economic potential. These come within the keenness of His Majesty to find alternative economic resources that will reduce the dependence on oil. It's worth mentioning that the tourism sector contributes in increasing the gross domestic product GDP of the Sultanate annually. In 2015, the contribution of tourism in GDP reached 2.2%, and with the efforts exerted to enhance this sector, its contribution increased in 2016 to 2.5%. The government, on its part, sought to adopt a number of steps and plans, including Tourism Strategy 2040, as well as focusing on other programs to diversify the income means. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries stressed that it's developing the fish market system in the Sultanate as per a comprehensive plan which includes building new fisher markets and upgrading the existing ones in different parts of the Sultanate. The ministry pointed out that the plan included various aspects such as conducting the survey for the markets at the different governorates. The survey included the infrastructure, available services, market business, number of sellers, and the needs for rehabilitating and developing the market. The survey helped the ministry in having a database on fish markets in the Sultanate. The ministry can thus rely on such database when it develops the market rehabilitation program and can identify the needs and the scope for development of such markets. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and still to come in our news bulletin. Under the title "Don't Be Deceived," the National Awareness Campaign to combat online fraud is launched. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. And now we move to the international news. Emergency workers were seen today carrying casualties from the scene of a massive explosion that rocked a highly secure diplomatic area of Kabul earlier in the morning. At least 90 people were killed and as 350 wounded in an attack that left a scene of mayhem and destruction and sent a huge plume of smoke over the Afghan capital. The target of the attack, which officials said was carried out by a suicide car bomber, was not immediately known, but most of the casualties were civilians, including women and children. It was one of the worst attacks of Kabul has seen since the drone down of foreign forces at the end of 2014. The Afghan Taliban have denied any involvement. South Korea's new Prime Minister Lee Nak-yeon was sworn in this evening after Parliament voted to endorse him earlier in the day. The inauguration ceremony was held at the government complex building in Seoul, with the current cabinet and several public officials in attendance. After being sworn in, Lee said that he wanted the cabinet to be capable of reducing inequality in society and preparing for the future. Lee was nominated by South Korean President Moon Jae-in on the day of Moon's inauguration. He has been criticized by the opposition, who alleged his family committed legal offensive when his wife, a teacher, used a fake residential address in a bid to assign a position at a favorable school. The Pentagon destroyed a mock warhead over the Pacific Ocean with an interceptor that is key to protecting U.S. territory from North Korean attack. The Pentagon's Missiles Defense Agency launched the Interceptor rocket from an underground silo at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. The target was an intercontinental range missiles fired from a test range on Kwajalein Atoll in the Pacific. According to the plan, a kill vehicle released from atop the Intercept zeroed in one of the ICBM-like targets, mock warhead outside Earth's atmosphere and obliterated it by sheer force of impact. The kill vehicle carries no explosive either in testing or in actual combat. The target was a custom-made missile meant to stimulate or simulate an ICBM, meaning it flew faster than missiles used in previous intercept tests. Heavy storms battered southwestern Poland, flooding several districts and causing widespread damage. Thousands of people have been left without electricity, and firefighters have been working throughout the night in some parts of the country to pump the water out from flooded homes and roads. A National Fire Services spokesman said that there were over 1,100 interventions by firefighters during the course of the day. Flash flooding was reported in a southwestern village of Rekulis near Krakow after a local river, Rigolanka, burst its banks. The residents said that they have never experienced such heavy rains, and the water level reached 1.5 meters when many houses were flooded. The National Awareness Campaign to combat online fraud, Don't Be Decisive, was launched today with the participation from a number of government and private entities. The campaign began with a press conference that was attended by media figures and social media influencers. The campaign's idea aims at curtailing the phenomenon of online fraud that has been taking numerous patterns with the rapid development in technology and telecommunications means. Scammers try to lure victims with false promises of large cash prizes and try to drag them into claiming fake cash prizes after submission of their personal information. The campaign calls for all citizens and residents to be cautious and abstain from sending any personal information or bank account details so that they do not fall prey to scam calls or messages that could be used against them to obtain illegal profits. Royal Oman Police ROP, represented by the Department of Criminal Investigation in cooperation with the South Al-Batin Police, arrested 10 people on charges of phone fraud, including an individual who allegedly made a phone call to a radio program for the purposes of fraud. The defendants had allegedly told their victims that they had won thousands of rials and then would ask their victims for their bank card numbers. The perpetrators would then use the information to withdraw money from victims' accounts. The Royal Oman Police were able to locate the suspects in the Wilaya of Barka and were able to arrest the accused individuals in coordination with the prosecution. The Royal Oman Police also seized a number of phone devices used in the process of the frauds. The Committee of Typical Residential Neighborhood Projects announced that next Monday will be the deadline to receive the applications of investors and companies concerned with the real estate development. It stressed that the project is considered as a main partnership between the public and private sectors, where developers from the private sector will be tasked with real estate development as well as construction and selling operations. On its part, the government will give the usufruct right to the developer. Muscat Securities Market MSM General Index today added 19.5 points, comprising a rise by 0.36% to close at 5,421 points compared to the last session, which stood at 5,402 points. The trading value today stood at around 4.3 million Omani Rials, comprising a rise by 81.1% compared to the last sessions, which stood at around 2.3 million Omani Rials. The report released by MSM pointed out that the market value rose by 0.1% to reach about 17.9 billion. And now here are the Ramadan Times for tomorrow. Fajr prayers at 3:54 a.m. and Maghrib prayers at 6:55 p.m. And now for the general weather forecast. Around the Sultanate, clear, partly cloudy skies will prevail over the governorate of the Fire. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies. Winds will be northwesterly to westerly light to moderate. Seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1 meter. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Signed by His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, His Excellency the Minister of Housing is to open the Sultan Qaboos Mosque in the Wilayah of Suwaiq on Friday. Financial Affairs and Energy Resources Council stresses on the necessity to continue in taking financial and economic decisions to limit the effects of decline in oil prices. And the Minister of Health issues a decision to decrease the prices of more than 4,000 medicines starting from June. With that, we do conclude this news bulletin. From the entire news team and myself here from the newsroom of the Sultanate of Oman television, we do thank you for joining us, wish you a pleasant evening and Ramadan Mubarak.